Special pack. It is time for another episode of Tales of Arise.
Have you guys lived up here in Dag Fazel with VRAPTOR 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for VRAPTOR 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
VRAPTOR 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
Oh. Nice.
Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner. However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renus Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hevrecht 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else?
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and...
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Yeah.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Danans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, no, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans, and the Great Spirit, and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power, and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning. But I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everick 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live, and I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do, or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people. Even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another, without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in. And I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live. And that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dan is still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
Mm-hmm. We sure will.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns' connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our mind.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships the people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Wrong way.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
VRAPTOR 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it...
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope
Another
against the
trophy.
Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. But with the amount of energy we're talking about here...
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
VRAPTOR 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
So no one's gonna watch then. Okay.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
She likes them.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
Know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Everett 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will... well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You're like two kids.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't.
I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything that
Listen,
we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Xion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Xion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Xion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrect 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
Yeah.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renaissance Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renins, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day...
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
I'm sure they're more than friends right now, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've reached our destination.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean... Wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renins inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, Why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not... hugely? Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell?
That's hilarious.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
We finally made it.
So we are gonna need to level up like a lot in order to do this. Like face off against the final boss, you know, because I just know
This will be a
he's gonna be
delicious piece
strong.
of flame of fury!
Come and face me!
Tempest whirl!
As ever.
Wow! Look what I just found.
Forgive you!
Light and celerity!
Negative gate! Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Maybe we'll probably
Let's
take this thing
dispose of
on
the
now.
trash.
A fascinating art there.
Care to give it a try?
No. A little unrefined for my taste.
That's how you judge them?
Yeah, we can take this thing on now.
I won't forgive you! That'll bring you down! Arcade waterfall! Glacial
I
spear!
think I'll pass on the hand.
Alpha! Eat this! Sword Rain! Aim for the weak spot! Sword Rain Alpha!
I can carve through armor! Let's really go.
Dragon Form!
Freeze Lancer!
Dragon Form!
Steel!
Try this!
Fury!
Dragon Form!
Glacial
Try
spear!
this!
Here's evil!
Don't suffer in silence.
Explosive Ring!
Freeze Lancer! Too much to handle?
Dragon Form!
I'm going
Take
to need
this.
to use all
Try
the power
this.
of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Explosive Ring!
Lightning Orb! Raging Cascade!
Resurrection!
More for the
I'll
side
stop
pile.
its charge!
Thanks, Kisara!
Burn in hell! Dragon Form!
Dance in the wind! In here! More for the side pile!
Outstanding form!
Benediction light.
Wind Astral Energy! Our expert coming through! Not in your dreams!
Dragon Form!
Illuminate the storm!
Dragon Form!
Holy Land! Lightning Orb!
Is that a healing art? It is.
Freezing
I can't ignore your
Storm.
pain.
I'm
I'll
ready.
try to be more careful.
Dragon Form!
I'll heal you, that'll bring you down!
Dragon
There you go!
Form!
Don't let up!
Ready! River!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Dragon Form!
My Astral Energy! Malevolence! Arcade Waterfall!
Explosive Ring!
Got it!
Dragon Form!
Now's our chance!
It's on! Ignite!
The waters of creation!
Dragon Form! Try
Fire
this!
away!
Now I can let loose!
Annihilation!
Dragon Form!
Dance in the wind!
Try this!
Can't get out of this!
Here, let me help! The enemy is going all out!
Amazing. Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Holy Land! Death Here, let me help!
Resonate with the art!
Refocus!
Another incantation ruined.
I didn't think you had it in you.
Starting wind.
Focus. There'll be time to congratulate me later.
Nothing much I can say to that.
We are
Reflect on
healed!
thy sins.
More for the
They smite with
confiscated!
blackened blade!
Dragon Form!
Illuminate the
Dragon
dark!
Form!
It's about to strike!
Try this! Eat, look sharp, everyone! Dragon Form!
Resonate with the earth!
Any more of this and I'll burn out! Try this!
Elusive deity!
Dragon Form!
Illuminate
Bring
the
you
dark!
down.
Come forth!
Try
Holy
this!
River!
But I'll never back down!
Cascade! Lunar Blast!
Explosive Ring!
Magic
Dragon Form!
Sleep now!
Try this!
More for the
Explosive Ring!
Captivity!
Coming through! Ha! Scarlet Inferno!
Nothing gets by me!
Hear me!
Dragon Swarm!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Got him.
If you want me to keep healing you, I'm gonna need to rest up.
Sounds prudent.
We finally made it. Let's see what's going on around here.
Yeah, there might be someone who could use our help.
Yeah! What?
Right. Afraid not.
Right.
Yeah!
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
I can't. Thanks.
Huh? What? All right. All right. I get. Got it.
Looks like we made it here in one piece. Your cooking has really improved, Shion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make, too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on. I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Shion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec. Are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing. Shion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Shion. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy. But I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
Hey, Alphen. Why do you like spicy food so much anyway?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I couldn't feel pain, it gave me that kick I was craving.
But now that you can feel pain again, wouldn't your tastes have changed?
Did you like spicy food when you were younger?
Not as much as I do now. At some point, it just became something almost like an addiction, I guess.
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary food, you cannot help but seek out more unusual fare.
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes. Although I won't deny that you definitely have a thing for exotic food. The stranger, the better.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Alphen.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself. It helps you last longer when you're on the move.
We all know you're a quantity over quality kind of...
What was that?
Nothing. I lost my train of thought.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of food most Renans are. Could be it's got something to do with the way she grew up.
That's so me. Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. All meat, all the time.
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish because she can catch them herself.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with something long enough, it comes naturally to you.
I like fish just fine. But what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade. It reminds me of what my mom used to make.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of meals for younger kids, and they said the same thing.
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the foods they like say a lot about the way they've lived.
Thanks for waiting, everyone. Come on over and grab some food.
Shion, could we talk a moment?
I thought you had something to talk about. I was waiting on you.
Not really. Why? Should I leave you alone when I don't?
No, it's fine.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking to each other, didn't we?
To say the least. Hey.
What is it?
Do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make what exactly?
Just if you wanna make dinner together. What did you think I meant?
Huh? Dinner? Oh, dinner, yes. Yes, of course. Dinner. Right.
What did you think I was talking about?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what did you have in mind?
Well, do you recognize these ingredients?
This is... Wait, is this?
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the very first meal we ever had together. Although I remember it not being well received when we had it.
You still remember that, huh? I'm sorry, Shion.
I'm just teasing you, Alphen. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be a good choice for dinner, too. Anyway, let's get to work. With both of us making it, we should be finished in no time.
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like this again. Just the two of us.
Yeah. So much has changed when you look back on it. Well, I guess maybe not what we're eating, but still.
No, I'd say even that's changed too, in a sense. Our meals are a whole lot better now.
True. We've both come quite a long way in the culinary arts.
That's not exactly what I mean. How do I put it? It feels like eating together is a lot more enjoyable than it used to be.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Even after our battles are done, when Dana is saved and our mission is finished, we'll probably still be sitting down to dinner like this, night after night.
Yep, I doubt that much will change. You've always got to eat at some point.
I hope our dinners will always feel like this.
Maybe not exactly like this. Hopefully we won't still be camping out.
Oh, no, not at all. I meant in a nice, warm house. One with a roof over our heads and a proper fireplace, instead of an open campfire.
And real chairs instead of these logs. Nice plates and silverware on a big dining table. Oh, and a proper kitchen. That'd be nice too.
And when it's time to fix dinner, we'll be in that kitchen.
Standing side by side.
Yeah.
Whoops. I don't think we'll be able to finish all this.
Yeah, you're right. I'll see if anybody else is still awake. I'd really hate to have to throw it away.
Side by side, huh?
Sorry if I'm a bit restless during the night.
Nice. Trophy. Another trophy.
Come on, guys. We've got lots to do.
Little help!
Looks like it could be worth something.
Go no further!
As impressive as always.
Ah, and here I hoped I was improving. Together, that wasn't even a problem.
Little help!
I thought you were going to wreck the place.
I'm not nearly finished yet.
Then I'll provide assistance however I can.
We are!
Undefeatable!
Unflappable!
Unfazable.
And most of all, we're free!
Is this the barrier that's keeping the Zugolin that Nath mentioned?
Looks like it. Our Zoogle pal should be on the other side.
This barrier is weird. It looks old and half-finished. Plus, he said it was okay to break.
I mean, we won't need it anymore once the Zoogle's gone, right? So what does it matter? Did they really think that barrier was enough for a Zoogle like that?
It was. That thing was sturdier than you give it credit for.
Really? So that's the Zoogle, huh? This should be a piece of cake.
Don't get careless, Law.
Yikes! Don't make eye contact with it!
Oh crap.
I have a bad feeling about this.
In a bind?
Is it high? Just back it out again!
Dragon Swarm!
Go for the weak point!
Ignite!
Lightning
Dragon
orb!
Swarm!
Glacial spear.
Here's the evil! Purge move! Lancer!
Benediction.
Raging cascade!
Dragon Swarm! Heal!
Allow me to...
Water! Hear my call!
Explosive attack!
Primed and ready! Lightning
Dragon
orb!
Swarm!
Whoa, this one's mine!
Trident!
A thrilling performance.
No! Can't end here!
not done
Thanks
yet.
for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Dragon form! Try this!
Resuscitation! Here's the
Explosive
healing!
ray!
Illuminate the dark!
No rest for the
I
wicked.
owe you one.
Holy land! Arch requires
I'm gonna be more than that.
Try this! Dragon form!
I can handle it!
Heal!
I owe you.
Explosive ring!
Photon! Blah, 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 medic! In here! I'm going to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish you
apart! Explosive ring!
field! Resurrection!
Negative gate!
Blah, 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 magic!
You picked the wrong fight!
Freeze!
Dragon form!
You get the gist! It looks like you got this one covered!
Explosive ring!
Burning strike! Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Dragon form!
Here goes!
Allow me to help!
Leave the enemy's arch to me!
Explosive ring!
No complaints here! Bring you down! Blah, blah, blah!
Dragon form!
Raising you apart! First aid!
Dragon form!
Searing flame!
Try this!
Reload!
Wide open!
It won't escape me.
Dragon
I'm
form!
going to need to use all the power of my healing arts to
Armor won't save you. Thank you. Crescent flash.
It's on!
No!
Can't end here!
Blood. Forgive me. This is my fault.
Here goes! Here's the wind! In here! Here's a healing others! First aid! Alright! It's done!
I'll blind you with the sun.
Flame of fury! Burning strike!
Water!
Here I go!
Everlasting sun.
Raging cascade!
Soaring blast.
Flame of fury! In the wind! Air!
Elusive deity.
Magna ray!
Soaring blast.
Again! Raging cascade!
Anything in armor is all mine.
Magna ray! In the wind!
Armor won't save.
Eat dirt! Magna ray! That'll bring you down! Photon blast! Think again! Magna ray!
No further. Resonate with the earth. Stalagmite.
Leave the chargers to me!
No more playing nice! Magna ray!
Air pressure.
You get the gist! Air
Blood.
rending you a bloody Air stream!
Resonate with the earth. Stalagmite.
Think again!
Shattering my pieces. Attack time. Elusive
Magna
deity.
ray!
Hitting pile driver. Everlasting shock.
Soaring blast! Arrow
Crescent
squall!
flash.
Magna ray!
Blood. Rending you apart.
Raging Magna ray!
Being interrupted. The most peculiar place.
Purge the level! Magic is out!
No further.
How's this? Toxicity! Magna ray! Razor cyclone! Tunnel! Blah blah blah, that sleep now. Let the marksman handle this. Magna ray! Where are you going?
I can feel the medicine working.
Not in your dreams! Blah blah blah,
Leave the chargers to me! Far enough!
more for the stockpile! The waters of creation! Here! Think again! Magna ray!
Whirling smash. Swallow dance. All things you here and now.
Hit! Lightning condemned! Magna...
Now I'm in the groove!
This one's mine!
I hope this medicine works as promised.
Now you see what I can do!
Look sharp! Inferno crossing! Igneous Mega Ray! Inferno crossing! Talon Hurricane! Mega Ray! On guard! Leave the chargers to me! Good score! Tiger Blade! Hurricane Spark! Mega Ray! Look sharp!
Don't mind if I do.
Meteor! Inferno crossing! Mega Ray!
I never fail. There you go. Don't let up.
I can carve through
Mega
armor!
Ray! In here. I'm
Eat
sorry.
Oh, you are gonna pay for that!
Hurricane Strike! On guard! Mega Ray! Hurricane Mega Ray!
Lost. Get toasty.
Bird strike!
Mega Ray! Flaming Meteor! Crumble! Inferno crossing! Look sharp! Mega Ray!
Did you hear it now? Glimmer Dragon!
This can't be happening.
Death Blossom!
On guard!
My whole body feels...
Hey, you need someone to
This
take a
one's
look
mine.
over you?
Sure, just be thorough.
Oh, hey!
All healed! I let my guard down.
Shoot.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Here it goes.
Take this!
Is it hot? Just smash it out again.
To be let free! Tempe!
Raging storm.
Exploit the enemy too strong! Then I'll split it open! Be my guest!
Sleep
I'll
now.
smash you!
Flame. Really saving this one. Take it.
You're mine! Sword Rain Alpha!
Render by the power of Easter.
Resonate with the earth! Sword Rain Alpha! Dragon Form!
There you go. Don't let up. Here's a healing art.
Air Explosive Ring!
First aid. This one's mine.
Ripping you apart!
Supernova.
I'll smash
Here,
you!
let me help.
Try this!
All right. It's showtime.
This is looking good!
Right after. Blah, blah, blah. Freeze Lancer. Annihilation.
Dragon Form!
Flame of Fury.
Outstanding form.
Explosive Ring!
Raging Storm.
No! Can't get
Hold on
here!
to your arms. Don't give up. Here I
Break
come.
this night! The earth throbs in pain.
Thanks so much.
In a bind?
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Heal my wearied companion!
Holy Land.
I owe you one. Ready and raring! The enemy wields arts
Here's
too.
evil.
Try
We'll
this!
soon see about that.
Explosive Ring!
Will this help? Shining Supernova. Purge Malevolent. Healing Voltage.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
The waters of creation. Blah, blah, blah. Magic.
Elusive deity!
Seal. Reverend.
Dragon Form!
Where are you going?
Try this! Burn and swamp! Eagle Ray! Dragon Form! Catapult!
The fluidity of your movements is simply incredible.
Explosive Ring!
Stockpile.
Begin! Okay, here I go!
Up and at 'em. Let's go.
Dragon Form! With
Lunar
Dragon
corruption.
Blade!
Raging Storm. Blast.
Explosive Ring!
Hold on to your arts.
Peculiar.
Here I
Can't end
come.
here!
I couldn't make it in time.
Freeze Lancer. Light Axe Dance is confiscated.
Can you take it?
First aid. Light Astral Energy. More with that flame.
I can carve through armor!
Lightning Condensed Flame. Reload Blade. Illuminate the dark. Come forth. Holy Glimmer.
Breath of light!
Mega Ray.
Heal
Holy
my
Land
weary
by the
companion.
power
Do
of
not.
water. I can't heal you forever.
Be prepared to free from regret.
Behold! The Earth's pulse! Tectonic Fission!
Light Astral Energy. Purge Malevolent. By the Hurricane Waterfall. Freeze Lancer. Dance in the wind. Air Thrust. Light Astral
Rending you
Energy.
apart! Bloody howling! Anything in armor is all mine!
Sleep now!
Deity!
Let's get you all tucked away!
Soaring blast!
Let's give it a whirl!
Everlasting shock! It's time! Can you take it?
Here, let me help!
Resonate with the earth!
Where are you going?
Stalagmite, take this!
Crossblade! I can handle it! One more time! Mega Ray! In here!
Dance on the wind!
Here, let me help! The stockpile!
On
First
your
aid! Hold on to your arc! Here I come! Mega Ray!
Rending you apart!
Tunnel! Photon Mega Ray! It looks like you got this one covered! Air thrust! Light extra energy! In here! Mega Ray! This'll come in handy!
Days in blood, rending you apart!
Steel Force!
Everlasting
There!
dark! Negative gate! Photon!
Go! It's over! Here I go!
Negative gate! Days in blood, rending you a bloody howling! The everlasting dark! Negative gate!
Sleep now! More for the stockpile! All disasters made one! Toxicity! Healing of purity! I'm ready!
In a bind?
Leave the chargers to...
Me!
Now, more for the stockpile!
Grind you into dust!
Mega Ray! Field! This'll come in handy! Mega Ray!
Air pressure!
Thunderblade! I can do this all day! Mega Ray! Holy Land! Now for
A thrilling performance.
Execution! Light accident in the wind! Sleep now! Get on in there with Mega Ray!
Everlasting shock!
Illuminate the dark! Holy
Blood,
quiver! Holy
rending
land!
you a bloody howling!
Toxicity!
The everlasting...
Photon blast!
Far enough!
Raging
Elusive
storm!
deity! See what I can do!
Hold on to your arc!
Where are you going?
Light condemned! Thunderblade!
No dawn shall break
Illuminate the
this
dark!
night.
Holy quiver! Holy land!
This engulfs you! It's time! Out of the woods, it
Toxicity!
seems.
Raging
Negative
storm!
gate! Resonate with the earth!
Light accident in the wind! Sleep now. I'll Mega Ray! This one.
The tempest no further!
More where that came from! Mega Ray!
Shattering the pieces! Attack time! Begin!
Light
I'm going to give it a shot!
Mega Ray!
Ready to go!
Toxicity! Holy Glimmer!
Reflect
Holy
on thy
Land!
sin. They smite with blackened blade! Execution!
Take the Raging Cascade! In here!
The everlasting darkness!
More for the
Negative
stockpile.
gate!
Arctic! Coming through! I hope this medicine works with help.
Bloody howling! On your
I went on my walk! Mega Ray!
air pressure!
Wind natural energy! Raging Cascade!
Shattering the pieces! On the wind!
Shazam!
Reflect on thy sin.
Toxicity!
They smite with blackened blade! This has a most peculiar require a hand.
Thunderblade!
Days in blood, rending you a bloody howling! Resonate with the earth!
Here I go! Think again! Thunderblade! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Holy Ray!
Rending you apart! No further!
Ready to go!
Resonate with the
by the
earth!
starting wind! Mega Ray! Hard now through all!
On your knees!
Toxicity! More for the
Air
stockpile!
pressure! Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite!
Raging storm! Up and at 'em! Let's go!
Seismic rupture! Crescent
Steel
flash!
Force!
Toxicity!
Reflect on thy sins. They smite with blackened blade.
Holy Land!
Execution!
Toxicity!
No further.
I'm ready! Magna Ray! Now! Ghidorah! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Magna Ray!
That'll bring you down!
Wind Astral
Magna Ray!
Energy! Illuminate the dark!
Here I go!
Holy
It's
Cloud!
over!
Holy Land!
Take it!
They're not playing
I'm
around!
only getting started! Go!
Illuminate the
again!
dark! Holy Quiver!
Magna Ray! Think again! Far enough! I'll smash you!
Gale Force!
Magna Ray!
Raging Cascade! In here!
Magna!
More for the stockpile! Light Astral Energy!
Magna
Where
Ray!
that came from!
Think again! Magna Ray!
I'm sorry.
Magna Ray! Going in! Ground and pound! Magna Ray! Eagle
Ready to go!
Blade!
Now I'm in the... Now you see what I can do!
Look sharp! Dragon Show! That's it! Magna Ray!
Now I'm in the groove!
I never miss! Going in! Talon Hurricane! Magna Ray!
Tear 'em
That's
up.
it! Quiver Dragon!
It looks like we made 'em mad!
This one's mine! Ground and pound! Crescent Moon Dance! Magna Ray! Hey, Bolero! Hurricane Strike!
I'm on it!
This one's mine!
Now you see what I can do!
Flaming Meteor!
I won't give up!
Come on! You
I'm
have
on
to
it.
hold on!
Storm!
Hurricane Strike!
That freaking
It
does
may be time to call a tactical retreat.
Blast! Yep, I'm already on it!
Ma,
Go
hold
away!
your place
I've let
till
you
I
all
say
down.
so. All healed. Tiger Blade! Sloppy!
Yep, I knew it. Yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
We should be able to cook here. Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Yeah, looks like it.
Everything okay there, big guy? You look kind of pissed.
I'll say. He looks like he wants to bite the head off something.
What's eating at you? Come on, Alphen. You're gonna bring us all down if you keep that ferocious scowl on.
Hmm? Sorry. Do I really look that ticked off?
Yeah, it kinda makes you hard to talk to. So, what's bothering you?
It's a pebble.
A pebble?
Snuck its way into the back of my boot. I can't seem to get rid of it.
Oh, I totally get you. Weird how much it can get on your nerves, huh?
Yeah, it's barely bigger than a grain of sand. So how come it feels like I'm walking around on hot nails?
You know, maybe this is a crazy solution, but you could just take your boot off and give it a shake.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, of course. You're right. Phew. It's like I've been given a new lease on life. Thanks for the tip, Shiana.
Yeah.
Seemed kind of obvious, but you're welcome. That's the trouble with windy places. All that fine debris ends up getting into your hair and clothes.
Alphen, is it just me, or have you become extra sensitive ever since getting your sense of pain back?
Now that you mention it, the other night at camp, there was a fly buzzing around that annoyed him so much, he unsheathed the blazing sword.
So much for sensitive. That's just being a Mr. Cranky Pants.
Nothing new on that front, then.
What's the matter, Alphen? You look a little tense.
It's nothing, really. He wants to get angry, but knows that doing so would only prove our point. Hence the building frustration showing plainly on his face. Would you stop analyzing things for 1 minute?
Point taken.
Oh, man. Alright, that is going to do it, guys, for this episode of Tales of Arise. I will see you guys again here in a little bit for another episode of Fable Anniversary. You know, the evil run. As always, though, remember, stay safe, stay dangerous. Love you guys. Later.